This past spring break, 28 people traveled to Honduras as a part of our commitment to Good News in Action to evangelize Central America. Xander Johnson is currently one of our high school Sunday school teachers, as well as a science teacher and coach in the Fort Smith Public Schools. This was his third mission trip to Central America, and here's his story.
So the last night in Honduras, we were sitting at a family festival, and I was talking to this guy named Brad, and he spoke English, so I didn't need a translator or anything. So we had a really good conversation. And Barry Weir came up, and he was in the conversation with us, and another guy from another church named Howard was there with us. And Howard asked him a question. He said, "Do you want to accept Jesus Christ tonight as your Lord and Savior?" And we discussed a lot of things, but the conversation had gone to a spiritual one. And so he had presented the gospel. We've done all these things, and I watched his face, and I'm sitting there looking at him, and I'm thinking, this guy's about to say yes, and I'm going to see this guy go from death to life. And I was pretty excited. And all of a sudden, when Howard asked him that question, "Do you want to enter a relationship with Jesus?" his face immediately changed. He kind of backs up away from us. He looks around. He gets really nervous, and he goes, I got to go meet somebody. I've got to give something to somebody." And he literally turns and sprints out of the park. I mean, just a dead sprint. And I remember turning to Barry and I said, "I have never seen somebody." We always say people ran from God, but this guy literally physically ran from God. And so I was kind of cracking a joke, I guess, about it. And what I didn't realize is I'm sitting there talking to Barry, and I look over, and Howard has got his head down, and he's just got tears running down his face, and he's praying out loud, and I can hear him saying, "Oh God, please don't let me get in the way. Please bring Brad back to us. I hope that it wasn't me that got in the way, that let the devil take a hold of him and keep him longer. God, please bring him back and let him see you for who you are." And I remembered at that moment thinking, man, I needed to be in this moment to see how Howard reacted, because I realized I didn't care enough about Brad. I wanted to see him saved, I did, but once he left, I was ready to move on to the next person, and Howard was devastated by this, after this 15-20 minute conversation. And so I'm sitting there, and I walk over, and all three of us get down, we're praying, and I'm just sitting there thinking about how Howard reacted. And 5 minutes gone by, 7, 8 minutes gone by, and I'm still standing there because I'm too afraid to leave, because Howard is still sobbing about it and worried about it. And then all of a sudden, about 10 minutes after, I look up, and across the field, across the park where we were, way away, I see Brad, and he's coming back, and now that smile that I saw earlier was back on his face. And I said, "Howard, Barry, look." And we looked up, and he comes back to us, a dead beeline to us, gets there, and smiling, and I just can't believe that he came back. And he stood there, and he said, "Sorry guys, I don't know why I had to leave. I just, for some reason, I just did." And Howard stands up from where he was, and he looked at him and said, "Brad, I asked you a question right before you left. Do you want to enter a relationship with Jesus?" And Brad said, yes, I do." And that was probably the best moment, and probably the number one reason that I was in Honduras. And it was an amazing moment to be there.